This is Ritesh Srinivasan and welcome to my channel. You might have heard the term called hallucination in large language models like ChatGPT, Google, Bard. So what is actually the concept of hallucination? Okay, in natural language processing or in large language models. So hallucination refers to text which is generated, okay, the generated text being nonsensical or unfaithful to the provided source input. Okay, so what hallucination means is that it is natural language generation models generating unfaithful or nonsensical text. This is an undesired phenomenon, and hallucinated text gives the impression of being fluent and natural despite being unfaithful and nonsensical. It appears to be grounded in the real context provided, although it is actually hard to specify or verify the existence of such contexts. Okay. So, similar to physiological hallucination, which is hard to tell apart from other real perceptions, hallucinated text is also hard to capture at first glance. So, this is from this survey paper which talks about hallucinations in natural language generation. So, it's a survey of hallucination in natural language generation. Just to show you an example over here, I have tried out, basically I copied some data about Tesla model and I asked ChatGPT to write an email introducing the below product to the customers. So this is my sourced text. Okay. So in the first case, it actually wrote a proper email over here, right? And it talks about one of the standout features is distinct falcon wing doors. Those things are not present over here in this source text. Maybe the model is trained on some data where it might be present, or it is still not present. So it could be hallucinated text over here, right? And the way in which it writes this text, it becomes very difficult to actually identify whether it is a written text or whether the text is faithful to the source. Recently, a lawyer had issues because a judge pointed out that in his, the text, the case details generated by the lawyer, there were a lot of cases. The lawyer made use of ChatGPT, and there were a lot of cases which were not existent. So it was hallucinated cases. Okay. And hallucination is also, undesirable and dangerous in certain contexts, like say, safety concerns of real world applications. For example, in medical applications, a hallucinatory summary generated from a patient information form could pose a risk to the patient. It may provoke a life-threatening incident for a patient if the instructions of a medicine generated by this summarization or machine translation are hallucinatory. It can also lead to potential privacy violations. So it can basically, natural language models can be prompted to recover and generate sensitive personal information from the training corpus, even though it is not faithful, right? Such memorization recovery of training corpus is considered a form of hallucination because model is generating text that is not faithful to the source input content. Such private information does not exist in the source input. Okay, so there are categorizations of hallucination. Okay, in this paper, so there are two kinds of hallucinations. One is intrinsic and extrinsic. In intrinsic hallucination, the generated output contradicts the source content. Okay, in extrinsic hallucination, the generated output cannot be verified from the source content. So output that can neither be supported nor contradicted by the source. It could be from some external data, right? Such factual hallucination can be helpful. This external can be helpful because it recalls additional background knowledge to improve the informativeness of the generated text. However, extrinsic hallucination is still treated with caution because it is unverifiable aspect of this additional information, increases the risk from a factual safety perspective. For example, over here, it says that it has wing doors, right? It says that it has a 17-inch display over here. Somewhere in the text, it says that this particular model has, It has a speed of 0 to 60 in little to 2.5 seconds. You need to verify this with another source because the reference is not given over here, and you need to verify it, right? So there are more examples of what is an intrinsic hallucination and what is an extrinsic hallucination given in this survey paper with respect to various tasks. For example, this is abstractive summarization. So this source text talks about Ebola vaccine being approved by FDA in 2019, whereas the generated output for, say, in summarization says that the first Ebola vaccine was approved in 2021. So this is intrinsic hallucination. And extrinsic hallucination over here is China has already started clinical trials of COVID-19 vaccine, whereas there is no mention of that in this particular input text. So intrinsic is actually wrong information over here with respect to the source. Extrinsic is some additional information which cannot be verified. It's neither, it could be wrong or it could be right, but it cannot be verified from the source data. Okay, whereas intrinsic can be verified from the source data, right? So here is another example of, say, dialogue oriented chatbots or task oriented chatbots where you have this source data which says there is a particular hotel, Pickwick Hotel, and the price range is moderate. Now the output which has been generated by the chatbot could be the hotel named Pickwick model is in a high price range. It can be verified from the source, right, that it is wrong. Extrinsic is the Pickwick Hotel is in San Diego is a moderate price range. Now whether this hotel is in San Diego or not is not known over here, right? So similarly over here in question answering, the question is Dow Jones Industrial Average, please. So here it says the Dow Jones Industrial Average is an index of 30 major US stock indexes. It may not be present in the source data over here. The index was first published in the mid-18, was last updated on May 26, 1896. It's a day-to-day index, right? So this is for, say, intrinsic, kind of this thing, intrinsic and extrinsic, hallucinations for different kinds of tasks. Another example is given for translation over here. So in the intrinsic, the actual ground truth is Michael went to bookstore on Thursday, and the generated Jerry didn't go to the bookstore. So this is totally wrong information, right? And extrinsic is Michael happily went to the bookstore. Actually, Michael went to the bookstore on Thursday, went to the bookstore with his friend. So it is actually hallucinating that Michael was happy and went with this friend. Okay. So this is about, hallucination in large language models. This was a short video on the concept of hallucination in natural language generation and large language models. I'll be putting the link of this survey paper in the description of the video. You can check it out. If you like the video, please like, share, subscribe to the channel. See you in another video.